Yeah.
Welcome to the show, Aaron.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Pleasure
what's your
be pleasure. Huh?
what's your sober date, bud?
July 17th, 2023.
All right, and what was going
I got
on? What was going on July 16th of 2023?
um I just come back over from a trip from going up to Massachusetts with my family, and I was trying to play a game, hide the drugs from family, and I thought it was in a normal world where I thought I could get away with it and out without hurting anybody else around me. This was just totally thinking about myself. I was thinking everything was okay going on around me, but at the same time, I still needed the fix to make feel like things were okay. You know,
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. What kind of drugs were you hiding?
pen. I'm sorry. What, JD?
What were you hiding? Like, what kind of drugs were you hiding?
It was marijuana.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
okay.
marijuana. Yeah. Um, I'm like a garbage disposal. I am an addict. I'm an alcoholic. Like I've tried just about everything possibly that you probably may be able to come across and think of. I've done pill. I have never ever shot anything though. Never
Yeah,
shot.
neither have I. It's something I was addicted to pills mostly. Um, I quit smoking 5 months ago, weed. And I gave up benzos at the same time. I was on Ativan, then Valium, then I was snorting my Valium. You can't do that anymore. Not if you're in recovery. You shouldn't be snorting your
Mm,
Valium.
no, you should not be.
So when I quit the benzos, I quit weed too, just to kind of cut them all off at the bud. Now let's go back. Where are you from?
I was born in Bangor, Maine. I'm originally from Maine.
Oh, okay. Did you grow up there?
I grew up there most of my life, up until like around sophomore year of high school, and then we moved down to Pennsylvania. I lived all around New England, like up until I was like 16 years old, like New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Maine. Like I was all around that area.
Not hearing the accent. I lived in Massachusetts for 6 years, off and on.
What about park the car in the Harvard yard? You got 4 quarters for $1.
Yeah, I lived.
What?
I lived in, well, as they would say, Carver. I lived in Middleborough. I lived in
Okay,
Plymouth. I lived in New Bedford.
I know where
All
Plymouth
over,
and New Bedford is.
yep, all over the South Shore is where I lived.
Nice.
Off and on for like 6, 7 years. I would move from Jersey, where I'm from, to
Okay.
Massachusetts and back, and then I moved 30 times during my addiction. And that's not even an over exaggerated number. I think it's like 31 times I actually moved from 18 to 32.
Okay.
So I moved around a lot in my addiction. So you grew up there. What'd you discover first, drugs or alcohol?
It was alcohol first.
How old
Yeah.
were you?
I had my first beer probably when I was like 15. Um, what started me off on roll of you know starting drugs and drinking, and then of course I did some stealing and stuff like that. That's a little bit further in the story, but um, I was about almost towards the end of my sophomore year in high school, and something went on with my family. A big change in my family happened. My dad was publicly caught at a rest stop in like the Massachusetts area, and at the time he was a pastor of a church, and it was a sting operation. So they were looking for people to set up, and he was just one of them people who got caught for it involving sexual acts with another man. So,
Oh, okay, that's not easy to deal with as a kid,
no.
especially 16 in high school.
Mhm.
And had you already drank at that point?
Yes, I had already started drinking at that point. Like
And
it would
then
just be
did
like,
you drink progress after that?
yeah, oh yeah, that's where it started progressing. I know exactly that's when it started progressing.
And did you that's when you moved to Pennsylvania to get away from all that?
That's when we moved to Pennsylvania. Yep, to get away from the all the hardships around the New Hampshire area of him being teased about coming out and actually being gay, about getting caught at that rest stop, and they wanted to try to give me a new beginning at a different school in a different area.
Yeah, I could see that. But at that point your drinking had already progressed. Did you like meet people when you were a sophomore or junior in high school to like hang out with and drink with? Or were you drinking
Absolutely,
alone?
absolutely. No, I met people to hang out and drink with. I wanted to be liked. You know, what I mean, I thought that's what I had to do. To needed to be liked by people. You
Yeah.
know.
No, I feel that. I started drinking when I was 12, and all my friends that I drank with, it was supposed to be for fun, but a lot of the times I was drinking because like I was bullied that day. You know what I mean? Like I always found a reason to drink every day. Um, whether my team won, whether my team lost, you know what I mean? You always find a reason to drink. Whether it's cold or whether it's hot, there's always going to be a reason to drink. Um,
Yes.
were you introduced to weed yet?
Not weed yet. Just only just cigarettes. So I was smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, I started smoking when I was 13. How about you?
It was about like 15, 16, same about time I had my first drink.
Oh, okay. So they kind of went hand in hand, a cigarette and a beer.
Yeah, yeah. I saw the other guys doing it, and I was like, you know, what I mean, I want to be cool like them. So you know, what I mean, like, hey, let me try one, man. You know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted to be cool when I was like in 8th grade. And I learned how to inhale with a black and mild.
Oh, that's
That's a harsh way to learn how to
that
inhale.
is a harsh way to learn to inhale, indeed.
I think I was
Yeah.
in 7th grade. I might have been 12, 13 years old. And that's how I learned how to inhale. And I was smoking a black and mild, like inhaling the entire thing. And I was like, I'm better off just smoking cigarettes. It's going to be better on my lungs to smoke cigarettes and inhale these cigars. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I started smoking cigarettes at 13 because of it. Now I'm 38 and I got to quit smoking soon.
I've been smoking all that time, all them years.
Yep. Yeah, it's on my list of things to quit. I enjoy smoking too much to quit right now. It's almost
Yeah.
like with drugs. The reason I'm clean today is because I wanted to be clean. I didn't need to be clean. I wanted it.
Mhm.
That's why I'm clean. I need to quit smoking cigarettes, but I don't want to quit smoking cigarettes. The day that
Right.
I want to quit smoking cigarettes, I will. And it's that kind of mindset. I have to want it, and right now I just don't want it. It's my escape. It's the only escape that I have now that I quit weed and now that I quit benzos. It's my only, puff, and that's my escape time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so no, I haven't quit them yet. It's on my list of things to do, but I chew nicotine gum. I chew nicotine gum like it's going out of style. Uh,
Yeah.
but the nicotine gum, for those who don't know, you can get a prescription from your doctor, and all you have to do is pay a copay of $1 or whatever your copay is. I pay $1 a month for my pack of nicotine gum instead of $43
That's not bad
because
at all.
I get it prescribed me from my doctor. So I just go to CVS, and instead of spending $43 at the counter, they slap on a prescription sticker on it, and I pay $1 copay.
Hmm.
So, and even the patches, my wife just quit smoking vaping with a patch, and she only paid the dollar copay for the patches, and she was able to quit smoking using the patch.
Okay.
So, when I'm ready, I'll use a patch. But for now, I have my gum and I have my cigarettes, and that's going to be all I need for right now. So you started smoking cigarettes, you're drinking, and you were a beer drinker.
Yeah, beer drinker. Yeah.
Now, good.
No, I was just like, I think it started off with like I think it was Peels or Budweiser. It was one of them two, Pils or Budweiser, American Light, or it was a light beer anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Um, when did you discover any kind of drugs? Was it weed or was it harder?
It was weed, and it was like about my middle of junior year once I moved to Pennsylvania, Middletown. Yeah,
Oh, okay, I know where Middletown's at.
yeah, that's where I graduated high school. I graduated high school in '95 there. And
Oh,
just
okay.
I was in school there. I had two kind of different worlds. I was in band, I was in chorus, I was in marching band, and then I was a jock too. Like I played football, I did wrestling. Um, so like I had kind of like a good world network of friends. But like I don't know, just as I was going through school year in school, like new school, new place. Nobody really knew about my family. Nobody knew about my dad. You know what I mean? Like nothing, but I still was already kind of like all fucked up about it. I mean, because it happened, and I mean, I had really no answers or nothing I really wanted to hear anyway to not keep me still mad, agitated, aggravated, and want to act back out. You know what I mean? So I kept some good friends that didn't do no negativity, but then I also didn't stop looking for the friends that wanted to party. And like this one guy that I know, I mean, he actually lit up in my van was the first joint that I ever smoked. And I was like, whoa, whoa, like, what are you doing? And next thing you knew, it was being passed back to me, and I was hitting and smoking it. And since then, like, well, not since then, I mean, I haven't touched it, for the past over a year. But, like, it was that recurring. I had to get high every day, when then I was getting high at work and everything like that.
Yeah, it's almost like that aha moment, like I have arrived. This is what I've been looking for to get me out of my head.
Then just try to ease in numbness to make me think like it's dealing with everything when it's not. It's all the chatter is still going on around me, even though I think it's being taken care of and it's soothing me. Like, um, I from the weed progressed into pills. I started messing around with pills like in my like early 20s, like kind of like right after graduation, and I was
What
still
kind of pills?
I did opiates. I did benzos. Pretty much anything. We were smoking muscle. I mean, not smoking. We were snorting muscle relaxers, like Vicodin, Percocets, morphines, um, pretty much Tylenol, codeine. Sometimes just Xanax. Um, Views bars. Like
What
I
year is
can't even
this?
think. This was like 96, 97, something like that.
So
I
around
was
the time that like oxycodone was coming around.
Yes, yep. Yeah, oxycodone was a real big one for me. I was in like I went through a stage of like 3 years where it was like straight pills, drinking, and just smoking weed before any other hard stuff started happening. I mean, not
How
that
old
that's
were
not,
how old
huh?
were you when those were how old were you when those were your go-to three?
Um, just about maybe 20, 19, 20 years old. Yeah, like you put it in front of me. There's never no hesitation. I was like, yeah, sure. I don't know what it's doing to me, but I think it's making me feel good.
Yeah, I know that feeling. I think I first discovered muscle relaxers when I was in high school. We used to drink, senior year, we drank every single night, basically, school nights and all. And I would wake up hungover for school and pop a muscle relaxer and then go to class. And I'd be hungover, high on a muscle relaxer during first period. Sneak out to my car to smoke a joint. I mean, just do whatever we wanted that year. Um, so for you, now you're 19, 20, and you're discovering pills and you're discovering snorting
Oh,
because I
and
didn't.
mind, I'm sorry, mind you, at that time too, JD. When I graduated in '95, mom and dad at the time decided that they wanted to move back up to Maine, and Aaron decided he's like, "Oh, I have a great group of friends. You know, what I mean, I got a job, like I got a car, so I stayed in Pennsylvania, and they went back to Maine."
Oh,
So,
okay. So you got your own place early.
yeah, well, not in exactly my own place. I was kind of the friend that was shacking up with friends at their houses, and but I did eventually have like my own apartment and stuff like that. But
So, so the friends that you were staying with, they were the ones that you were getting high with too.
yes, I was getting high with them too. Yes, and of course doing the drinking because at times we weren't 21 yet. So when you already got eviction, you think you like it. You know, what I mean, you're gonna go whatever means. You're gonna ask the older people, "Hey, I'll give you a couple extra bucks if you buy me that case or whatever." You know.
Yep. No, I remember. We used to do that. There was a liquor store in our town, and we would stand outside of it. We were 14, 15 years old, and we would have to ask somebody to buy us stuff. And then by the time, I think around the time that I was 16, 17, a bunch of us knew people that were 21. So we could have
Yeah.
like older brothers or older sisters, go run to the store for us and buy some beer, buy some liquor, you know,
Hmm.
and you know, drinking was easy by the time I was 16. It was never in like eighth, ninth grade. It was always hard to drink because it was so hard. You're stealing your parents' liquor. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
You
And
weren't
their
going.
money. And their money. Yeah. And
No, I
I
started
did.
working when I was 13 just so I could afford to buy my cigarettes and pay for my alcohol.
Okay.
So I always found odd jobs, whether I was bussing tables or whatever. You know what I mean? I always found odd jobs. This way I could afford my habits without
Yeah.
raising any questions from my parents.
Uh,
So your parents move. Are you the only child?
no, I have a sister. I have a sister and I have a brother-in-law and I have a family that lives up in Massachusetts right now.
Oh, okay, but you're the only one that stayed in Pennsylvania.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
My dad lives down in Florida right now with his partner, his new partner, and then my sister and her husband and I have three nephews and a niece that live up in Massachusetts.
That's cool.
And
Yeah, Mass area.
my mom's not living. She's been passed away for quite some time now.
Oh, okay.
Um, I don't remember the exact year right now off the top of my head that she passed away though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry about yeah, my dad passed last June, and that's kind of what put me into a spiral with my addiction.
That
Um,
did as well for me too. That made me start like when my mom passed away. That's when I fell into meth. That was meth. What was led out of all the drugs, the cocaine, and acid, and mushrooms, and I mean special K, and just all the bullshit that I've ever done. Like meth is what led to me to my downfall and made me finally hit rock bottom and
yeah,
realize.
meth will do that to you. Meth will mess things up real bad, real bad. I was always a downers guy. Like I loved acid and I loved coke and I loved mushrooms. Um, but I don't know why I liked coke because you were only ever high for like 3 to 5 minutes, and
Mm,
and the high went away so quickly. And I think I liked coke because I liked snorting. I was addicted to the act of snorting as much as I was the drug. Um, it didn't matter what it was, I was going to snort it. And that's why my addiction took such a stranglehold this past year because I've learned that I could snort my Valiums that I was prescribed. So, because if you snort Xanax, it doesn't get you higher. Like you actually get
okay.
higher by eating Xanax than snorting Xanax. Most pills is the opposite effect, but with Xanax, you actually get higher quicker if you just eat it the way it breaks down. you're almost wasting a Xanax if you snort a Xanax. If you're watching this and you're about to snort a Xanax, don't break it up. You're gonna waste your time.
I
Um,
know. I know when I ended up like when I started getting when I ended up getting to the point where I got tired of snorting and then I started smoking it like when I smoked crack and when I started smoking meth like that was a totally whole different level, man. Like
yeah, I
that,
want to get
that, that hit me real hard. Like I mean, like my mom was dying, and all I could think about was taking money from her just to get fucking high and just go drink. Like
well.
what
So
kind of
that
son does that to his parents? You know?
misdirected one.
Yeah.
What? When did you discover meth? How old were you?
Oh, it was. Well, see, I'm 48, and I only did it. I only was introduced to meth like the last maybe 4 years of my addiction. Meth came after. Meth was the last thing that made me have my crash and realize that I gotta turn it over to higher power. I gotta stop fighting, trying to do everything my way because like was not working, dude. Like I mean, I would get up so up and I would think I'd be doing good, and then stuff would just come crashing down, and you know until I hit rock bottom up until like almost like 2 years ago, I was caught up in a lot of bullshit down here. I had a girlfriend I was staying with. I was working at Burger King. Like I was still smoking weed. I was doing meth. I was drinking. I was filling the girl's fucking vodka bottle up with water and trying to refill it so she wouldn't notice. And I had my own shit too. I had my own weed, my own beer, but like not good enough for Aaron. Aaron's got to have something that somebody else has. You got the me first, the narcissism motherfucker. The just only thing about what Aaron wants. I mean, not what he actually really needs. What is already provided for him, what's around him. Like all that cloudiness was constantly going on because I'm 48 now. I just turned 48. So for almost like the 40 something plus of my years, like that's all I did. Yeah, I mean, I was the one who always I drank at work. I had nips in my pocket. Like I used to work at Turkey Hill, and I would do pills and get high while I was at work, dude. Like that's nothing but a horrible life. Like I
So
had I went to when I crashed, bro. I was up in Maine at the time. I had tried to escape Pennsylvania and be like, fuck this, sorry, fuck everything else. I don't have a girlfriend, don't have a wife, I have no kids, nothing's tying me down. So I called an old friend up and I ran up there. You know how you say when people change that they're not the same person that you should know from before? Well, that was a situation because he was actually a dealer up there and he was selling and getting high and all that shit. And I don't know. He ended up coming after me with a fucking axe and threatening my life. And when he did that, like, whoa, like, took a step back. I took a bus from Maine back down to Pennsylvania. And here's what got me to flip the whole edge around. Like, this lady prayed with me on the bus. She came up to me and she's like, I see that you're troubled, young man. Let me pray with you. And from Boston, Massachusetts to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania on the Greyhound bus. She just sat there with me and talked with me and like just made me feel a certain way. Like that yeah, you need to accept Jesus Christ is my personal high power. So, that's who I found. That gave me a flip around. But I was so broken that I went to the Bethesda mission in Harrisburg, the men's mission in Harrisburg, the Bethesda mission, and I just crumbled. I was like, I'm not trying to do Aaron's way no more. Like I need your guidance. And then again, at that moment, then I was like, you gotta put the shit down. There's
So
bits and
that
pieces.
was a year ago.
Um, but that's the mission was like, let's see, we're 24, 23. Like March of 2021, like around that time. Yeah.
So where when did it jump off from pills and weed into what was the next progression?
The next progression was I believe it was crack. It was crack or coke. Yeah, it was crack or coke. Um,
Because you had snorted coke, but that wasn't enough anymore, and now it was time to smoke some crack.
hmm yeah. I just met some people and they're like showed it to me and like, you want to try this? And I was like, sure, I'll see what it does to me, you know. And but and we throw it down, okay. I've not I put coke down. I put weed. I'm not weed down, but I put coke down. I put crack down. I put the acid down. And I put the mushrooms down. I put the fucking pills down too. Out of the hardest out of my total addiction and everything, it's always been the alcohol and the weed, and then those two always led to the other stuff because after a while, it just doesn't seem good enough. I gotta do something to make my body feel more fucked up, man. Like,
When did you discover meth?
um,
How old were you?
about I was I was in my 40s. You know, I was in my 40s. Like, let's see, it probably was. Let's see, I remember the exact time. It was I can't remember the exact time, but I know I was like about like 45, something like that, around like 45. And I actually was one of them type of people where my so-called friends, right? You know how people like, hey, we're cool now because you got this, you got this, you got this, and everything like that, and we're homeboys. They told me that it was actually coke that I was snorting, and then after the fact that I did it, then they told me it was meth. So,
And you felt that
uh,
high, and you're like, you got to chase that high that the meth gave you.
yes, indeed, yes, indeed. Like I was so horrible. Like they could not. My face was so white and peakish, like everything like that. Um, I wasn't eating obviously. As many people who know if you're watching this, like you can't really eat when you're on meth. Like you just don't. You know, I mean, I don't know too many people that can anyway, but some people can force themselves, I guess, to do it. But like that state, that effect, that euphoria, of like just mind keep racing and zooming, like you mean like as soon as I just hadn't felt like I kept chasing it and chasing it, like you know, it, and
Did you?
it became a fact that every day, like I was using it probably maybe like about a gram a day, about a gram a day. I mean, that may not seem a lot to like a lot of people, but to me it was because the shit that I always got was pretty strong and wasn't no weak shit. So
Yeah. And so, how long did you do meth for? 3 years.
yeah, yeah, maybe a
And
little over 3 years.
you
Yeah.
quit that before you quit the weed and alcohol.
Um, the weed and alcohol and the meth was kind of like a throwdown thing because when I was homeless, when I went in the mission, they drug test you and they piss test you. I mean, well, they piss test you and they gave you breathalyzers. So I mean, like play by it, or you can keep asking Joe if you can stay on his couch, or you can be out in the streets. So I just, as hard as it was, then I just ended up, I don't know, because the addiction part is still there with me now, as far as like, I mean, it'll still always be there, but the thing that's gonna make me or break me is that I gotta stay away from the alcohol and the weed. Bottom line is, like, it definitely helps when you go to meetings and stuff like that. Talking to people who I'm talking to, like, right now, who can hear this, like, I can't express, like, if you believe in God or not, like, that that's what did for me. Like, you know I finally got turned around. I was able to get my teeth fixed and everything, and get my dentures. I was able to go through hip surgery. I got a beautiful woman who I'm with right now for over 2 years, and a beautiful, lovely daughter she's got. Great, solid job where I work at right now for over a full year. I'm about to hit a year working there, and yeah,
Do
it's
you
tough.
go to meetings? Do you go
What's
to
that?
meetings? Do you go to
Um,
meetings?
I have not, people, which I know that I should be doing, because I'm still early in my recovery, and there's no excuse not to get one, because there's always Zoom, and there's always, I do have a big book. I have my AA book and my NA book. I read a lot of scripture a lot lately. Scripture helps. Worship helps. Like,
Yeah, as long
talking
as you're
about
some
it.
kind of program. There's hourly meetings for AA on Zoom. Like you can
Mhm.
find a meeting every hour of the day. Even at 2 o'clock in the morning, you can find an AA meeting. I do NA on Zoom every
Okay.
day at 12 o'clock. I do NA at Zoom on Zoom. And Harrisburg has a lot of great recovery around that area. I used to go to when I lived in Hershey, is when I first got sober 6 years ago, and I used to go to Hershey meetings. I used to go to Harrisburg meetings, and I used to go to oh shit, what's the name of that town? Carlisle, maybe.
Carlisle. Okay.
Um, that's not the town I'm thinking of, but I used to go to a bunch of meetings around Harrisburg and Hershey. And so there's a lot of good recovery out your way because I
Mm.
used to, like I said, live in Hershey when I first got
JFT.
clean.
You hear of JFT? You ever hear of
Hey,
JFT? Just for today.
that's yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. I can't think of the
Okay.
town that's in Camp Hill.
Lemoyne. Yeah, Camp Hill, Lemoyne.
Lemoyne. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, right
Yeah,
over the bridge.
that's a great place. And actually, like, New Insights Recovery Addiction center is in Lemoyne too, a treatment center, and I was there too. And that's what
Oh, okay.
also, that was a, okay. I went from the mission probably from 21 February to about July July 22, and then I was in treatment. I was in recovery house. I got my what's the word? What's the two words called for IOP, inpatient out treatment, done, and I was going, you know, I just, right now it's not perfect, but I know it's so much more better without the drugs and alcohol. Like,
Yeah.
my mind's clear. I'm not as angry no more. You know, don't have as much outbursts. I'm more honest. Um, it's just only like it's just all new to me, the sobriety, JD, is because, like, it's fresh. It's only really, oddly to God, about a year, because, like I said, last July, it's July 17th of 2023. Okay, wait, no, yeah, sorry, yeah, it is. Um, and I just thought I could always like fix it and I mean hide it and not have to deal with it. Like it's cost me jobs, it's cost me relationships, it's and family members, like good friends that I should have never lost from like stealing from them just because I need to be able to get high because that's all my addiction made me think about was me. Like
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you turned your life around, Aaron. It's not easy to do, especially at 48.
it's not. It actually certainly is not. And like guys, I can't express like it's just you can have fun while you're sober. Like I've gone to the beach, I've gone camping, and I used to go to freaking if I got invited to birthday parties, I was one of the ones who had to be drunk. I had to drink while I was at a festivity, concerts, sports events, everything. I went and saw my favorite fucking band, Pantera, and I was totally sober. And I actually got to remember it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
not getting beat up in the mosh pit or nothing like that. I was just and like so many good more good things come when you just are sober, and you can
Yep.
just finally admit that like, hey, I'm married and I'm alcoholic and I'm an addict and I got problems, you know.
Yeah. That Just for Today is a good meeting. You should check it out again.
Okay,
That was
yeah.
good. That's where I used to go to, I think on Monday nights or Wednesday nights. I can't
Do
remember.
you know any people from that area? Because I still
Not
thrive, man.
anymore.
No, okay.
Not anymore. I lived around there for about 9 months, 6 years ago. And then
Okay,
I met my wife in Bloomsburg. So I moved up to Bloomsburg to be with her.
okay.
And I've been in Bloomsburg ever since. So no, I haven't been around there, but I know that that meeting was a really good meeting. I used to really like going to that in the basement
Yeah,
there.
they definitely are still Wednesday nights, and it's not an excuse, guys. Like because I know we just got done saying because like there's zooms and stuff. I work till 6, so when I get home, I have to take the bus. I don't drive, so I get home late. So really, the Zoom is the only kind of like option for me to really check up to as far as the weekends. But just talking about it to people, I mean, if I'm guilty, if everyone else thinks, anybody else had a question like, do I have a sponsor? No, I don't have one currently. I need to get back into the game of it because that's what they're there for too, to guide you. And I mean, I did try steps. You know, I just me personally, I couldn't do it. I mean, it was hard to keep up with it, and I bottom line is just what basically been helping me is my good relationship with my girlfriend, keeping honest with all my friends that are friends in my recovery and outside my recovery, letting them know like, a if you're gonna use or drink, well then I'm not gonna come over and see you because that temptation, that devil is always like knocking at that door.
Yeah.
So I just try to stay away from it, and then use the tools that I already have and am learning from other people such as yourself and apply them. Because if you don't
Yep.
use them, they're never going to work, you know. And us being addicts and alcoholics, if we don't pick up or use for today, we already won.
Yep. No, you're not wrong about that. But I appreciate you coming on and telling your story, Aaron.
I mean, I appreciate being able to talk to you and everything. Like, I mean, I got 10,000 many more I could say about where I fell into probation because of using and all that, but then I'm sure, that's part of the process. I mean, getting arrested, DUIs, like possession, intent to sell, like all because it's what I thought I needed, not what I wanted. I mean, no, I wanted it, but I didn't need it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that you got a year sober now. Check out those meetings, man. There's plenty
yeah,
of them on
I will.
Zoom.
I definitely
Just go
will.
to AA.org or NA.org, and you
Okay.
can find Zoom meetings every hour of the day all over the world. There was one day I missed a meeting, like an in-person meeting, and I found a 4 o'clock p.m. meeting that was based out of London, and it was like
London.
9 o'clock
Wow.
in London, and I joined a meeting from London. So
Okay.
there's cool meetings, New Zealand, you can find meetings, and you can find meetings all over the world, which is really cool, really cool.
Okay. I will
Check it out.
definitely. I will definitely check it out. AA and NA. I will.
AA.org and NA.org. Yep.
Okay. Very
All right, have a
cool.
good night, buddy.
All right. Thank you too, JD.
I'll talk to you later.
All right, buddy.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.